The summertime is really more chaotic for people. And I really do try to remind everybody, like, when you're busy and you're out and about with people, that is a great time to have samples on you, to just let people try things that are in your bag. Or there's a lot of ways to share on the spot, and being busy and around people is what you want, because that's going to help you, as you're reaching new people and sharing with people. So I did ask in the committee Skype what types of things you guys want to see for trainings coming up, and everyone was like, how to restart, or how to, how to bounce back or whatever. And I think, I mean, every time I have done a training like that, it really is just like, okay, what did you do at the beginning? You're going to gather people in your home. You're going to share the products that you love. You're going to, just kind of start over and go through quick start again. Make sure that you're posting consistently. Make sure that you are doing your follow-ups. I would love to hear your ideas on kind of a bounce back conversation, or what you think people are really needing when they say that. Because in some ways I'm like, I mean, you start again, you go back and start over, but I know that it's more complicated than that. And I know that everyone is feeling something more specific in what they're asking for. So I would love to hear feedback on that.
I think you really have to push through it. I think
Mm,
you keep doing what you're doing, add some new things in maybe that are outside of your comfort zone, but I think you just have to keep doing it, knowing that at some point it's going to hit. Maybe the time just isn't right in your community, in your family, whatever, but don't stop. You can't
yeah.
let yourself stop. It's too easy to stop.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot. One thing that I was talking to someone the other day, and they were like, "Well, how do you think that you did it, like in the field, or whatever?" And I might have shared this story here before, but I did build a lot of recruits from my YouTube channel. But I put 2 videos on my YouTube channel every single week for over a year.
Mhm.
I put out over 100 videos before I got one. It does take a lot of tenacity and grit, depending on what you're trying to build, right? Are you trying to just have a community where you hang out and spend time with people that, are aligned with you? Then focus on that aspect of it, right? Are you trying to build something that brings in income? Then, you really have to like focus on, what are you trying to get out of a line? What is it that you are needing, and really focusing on activities that build that. But whatever you're doing, if it's worth trying, it's worth trying long enough to know for sure if it's working or not, and consistently enough.
I agree with that to a point. The Sometimes people are trying to do business the way that it works for someone else who doesn't
Mhm.
think the same way that they do. So like me, for example, I am a hands-on oral. I like to hear it and put it in action. For me to read something and then be told how to go do it, it better be written like a recipe. Otherwise, if I've got to figure out everything, that's not it. Like me studying in school and reading stuff out of a book was torture. So for me to learn the tactile, exciting pieces of the business that I love, and that's why I think Align is so fantastic, is because it is tactile. We do get to touch it and experience it. If that's what drives you and that's what motivates you, then tap into those things that fuel that fire and then carry that forward, because people love and know you as that kind of person. The ladies that are coming to help my mom, I'm talking, they're like, "Oh, some magnesium." I was like, "Oh, I've got that body butter." And they're like, "What? This is amazing." And so it's natural because I have it, I show it, it like we talk about it and they understand the value of it. So don't be afraid to go into, hey, you know what? that doesn't work for me, but I bet you I can take this and go this direction with something and it's going to click.
Yeah.
There's no
I
one way
actually
for it to work.
100,000%. And I think that's where, as a trainer, and as a committee, as we're trying to decide how to talk to people about some of the problems that they're having, I think that's a little bit where like the sales system also got really like overwhelming in my head. Like how can I tell people how to run their business when it is such an individual case by case basis? It also matters where you live. Jessie would talk about when we were in the field together, she'd be like, no one will book a party here. No one. She's like, I will never ask ever, ever, never, never, ever. That wasn't the case in my part of the country, right? And so it's regional. It depends on who your audience is. It depends on who you're connected to. It depends on what you're good at. It depends on what you're passionate about. It depends on what you're trying to build. It truly is where maybe we need to do a little bit more talking about like, how can you make this yours? How can you put a stamp on, this business that feels like it's you? So I don't know, making sure we're talking about a variety of ways is definitely something. So I love pushing through and trying new things. And then of course, like adding your own personal stamp on it.
One of the things that I do when I get in a funk is I go to YouTube and I watch training videos because, everybody gets in a funk, and everybody learns differently and everybody gets a fire under their behind differently. But for me, it is going to YouTube videos and just watching them, watching all as much as I can on training, on the product. I try to look for the longer videos just because I'm doing stuff, I'm taking notes, and I just kind of want to be in that moment, while I'm watching these videos. And the more that I can get in one video, the better for me.
That's
If that,
awesome.
if I have to watch like 10 videos that are only 3 minutes long, that's too hard for me, but if I can find one video that's like 30 minutes long, it's like I'm all over it.
I love that.
And that's the way that I can get back into it, but that's just me.
And it doesn't have to just be a line either. There's so
No,
much
not
out
at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can learn from so many different people, so many businesses.
Well,
Yeah, I
and
like that.
here's the beautiful thing is, like, I don't know how many times I have stopped and started, and like it's this cycle of chaos that I'm like, oh, it's too much for me to think about right now. So I go away from it, but I still have that knowledge of the value of being accountable to what I put in my body. So I'm not necessarily starting over from ground zero. You're starting over from the place that you left. And you may have to back up a step or two, but you know how to do it.
Yeah.
And so it's building that confidence within someone who, I think it goes back to value and worthiness. Really, they don't know how to tap in to that inner confidence that says, hey, I already know how to do this. I simply need to put myself in action. What do you want from this? And what are you willing to do to get where you want to go? Like, I can't drive the bus for you, but I can help you draw a map.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think that is kind of the more of the tools that I'm talking about, because like I said, like I can tell someone exactly what I did, we're step by step, word for word, and it isn't necessarily going to work for you, right? Or for Jessie, right? She was in my downline, or for, Maria, or for whoever. It's just so that is one challenge that we have as trainers, and just trying to help support people, is the variety of needs and wants. A lot of people want a place to be, and they want a place to belong, and that is something that we can definitely give people, regardless of whether they're sharing their link or not. And we're kind of hearing in the community, like a lot of what people are wanting is just like a safe place to hang out, a safe place to be, and sometimes they'll share their link and sometimes they won't. And so we need to make sure that our focus is also to the masses, right? How can we make the changes that we make? How can we make the ambassador resource drive more accessible to people who, it's been 3 months since they shared anything, but they're really excited about the new abundance box, right? How can we make that easy enough that anyone can step in and out at any time as they feel it's best for them?
Yeah,
But
I've been talking about bouncing back, and I had been messaging
Yeah.
with her thing like when you get in that funk and you're just feeling discouraged. And like I think for me, like I got very frustrated that I didn't do better with the sale because like the month before I had been able to hit the 500 and get the free red light one. And so then I was just annoyed. I'm like, why do people not want to take advantage? Like, why don't you understand what and I'm an accountant, I'm doing the math, and I'm like, people like the water bottle you do. I mean, I'm like, I'm gonna buy it because you're getting 2 for $51. Like the math of like 36 and 38, but you're getting 2 for 51. Like it's obvious. Like so like I get mad and I get frustrated that I don't understand why it's not consistent.
yeah, another piece of that genuinely is just having a more minimalist product line. That means you're going to need a lot more people to be able to go back to, right? So that you're not tapping out your customer base. I feel like that is really the core of a lot for a lot of people. It's just that the problem of people, the problem of new people. We're constantly needing to find new ways to meet new people, being new people.
Well, I said I have my networking group, and my networking group tends to, I mean, we have people can invite other people. And so like the person who started it, she had a vision board that she had the number 40 on it. And it was sometime, I think it was like November last year that we had 40 people at the meeting. And now most meetings we have probably more than 50. We now have officially 63 members, I think. Like we usually have like 5 or 6 new people every month that come. So like it's like one of my red light wands that I sold with somebody in the networking group. And it's great because she's somebody in the group who's never bought anything else from me. And she's on vacation, so she hasn't gotten it yet. But when I give it to her, I'm going to give it to her with samples of like, 5 other things. So then I can go back and what did you
Well,
think of XYZ? Like she said, she uses, because I asked if she uses serums, because that was going to go the serum route with the wand. And she said she does. But of course, I'm going to give her Renew as here's a comparison to try, because I know, I mean, there was someone I was talking to at like vendor events is another place that I've gone and met other people. And then there's somebody who loves Aura. So, and it was funny because I had messaged her about the red light wand and she ignored my text. And then Aura, the 25% was like right following that. And so I'm like, I swear I'm not trying to spam you, but I know you love Aura and I want you to know that it's 25% off. And so she was like, no, 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 thank you for telling me. I'm super happy. Like she was glad that, so like I try to, the people who like things to have that contact so that I can follow up with them too. But it's interesting because sometimes I feel like the limitation of not having enough products. But then I realized, so total short story, but somebody who, I mean, you guys, many people know Lauren Rush and that she's with Jordan Essentials, and she was trying to hit a goal to be able to do their home office tour at their convention next month. And she had somebody that she knows who's pretty high up in Norwex. And this person offered to like go out to her people, but she didn't go out and say, here's a link to her website, go shop. She just put the Jordan Essentials box that is $29 and basically like sold that, right? Said like, here's this awesome thing with all these bug products and like it exploded. Like Lauren's playing bunco and she's getting message after message after message of all these people who are ordering from her. I mean, like several hundreds of dollars of orders that somebody else in a different company got. And I saw, so then Lauren flipped it and she just hosted a Norwex party and the live was last night and there's already been 9 orders. And I'm just like it's that whole, how do you make that happen? Because that's such a great, like to me, it was a really smart thing, not here's a link and go look it because Jordan Essentials has a zillion products and people are going to be overwhelmed, right? here's this one thing that's really fantastic. And if I can get, 30 people to order it, I just got her a whole lot of sales.
Yeah, it's really interesting, when we look at the statistics of how other companies are selling, the ones that have, 1 million in sales a month, 80% of that $1 million is a single product that they
Wow.
have, that they share. So, I mean, the world is kind of interesting in how it works in with that 80-20 rule, so what is your 80%? What are you selling, the very, very most of? I know when I was in the field, I really kind of each season almost would pick like okay, this is what I'm running with for the summertime. I kind of talked about that in our set up your summer training. And I was like, this is the bundle I would be focused on all summer long, is that Tropical Waters Trio,
Mhm.
because it's head to toe. It has a travel size item. The scrub is dual purpose, triple purpose, right? Like, do you need to clean up your feet? Do you need to volumize your hair? Were you out at the lake today and you're covered in grime? Like, the scrub is absolutely amazing. And that body butter is super, super hydrating and has magnesium. So that's something that I kind of found myself doing when I was in the field. What is your 80%? What would you guys say you're selling the most of?
I sell
Mhm.
more Clarify.
I don't know, because I'm kind of all over like the one person who bought 4 Calm for me, like I have, and then I have somebody else who just got 3 more Calm. Like I've sold a lot of Calm, I've sold a lot of Clarify, and then both the scalp scrub and the body butter. And that's why for me, like that's kind of my thinking for the summer too, is kind of just keep putting that out there and like kind of promoting all the different reasons why you want these particular products for the summertime.
I really enjoyed listening to a couple of things you said. When you were talking about the 25% off sale and you're like, you're getting 2 for $51. This is a no-brainer. I'm curious if you took that energy to your stories or to social media, right? Like, I think sometimes we get really caught up in like how we're sharing something, but the way you were talking about that, just like so authentically, I think that would make me take a second look at something or the price of it, right? Because people, they're watching, but they're not paying attention. I don't know how else to describe that, right? They're
Yeah.
watching you. They're watching, but they're not paying attention. And so for you to be like, this is a no-brainer. Oh my gosh, I'm buying it because it's such a great deal. Like, sharing from that place, just even thinking about different ways you can share the same thing. Do user generated content. Do you guys ask your customers for their feedback and share it with your other customers? That's something that was really, really valuable for me. Leverage influencers and partnerships, just like you were just saying, Maureen, that Lauren did that, right? She asked for help. She asked for, and that's something that I talk about in the recording for tomorrow night, is consider pairing up with someone from another company. See what you can do for and with each other, right? Bundle deals, host an event.
I think for the summer, it's so easy to tap in, and just start sharing and make it a series. Summer skincare solutions. The
love that.
alliteration comes so easy and people remember it. So jump on that alliteration piece and run with it. What else can you do?
Yeah.
Water works wonders.
It doesn't always have to be things that you're just coming up with brand new out of nowhere. And there are just so many ways to do it. All of that being said, that's also really overwhelming. That's also really overwhelming, right? That there's so many options and so many different ways to do it. And that's maybe where the sales system can help some people.
Yeah. I mean, all in all, it goes back to permission, right? For people to give themselves the permission to do something that is specific to their goal and what they want to accomplish with the business. You know exactly what the result is that you want. So let's work backwards, but give yourself the permission to go into this with whatever you want to do, but identify the goal. Because if you're working towards something that's open-ended, you have no idea what you need to do to get there.
I totally agree. And it would be kind of interesting to see, Maureen, we have the abundance box for sale the last
Mhm.
of the month, you know, and I know that's not a $29 box, but we do have it for 45 to join this month and 60. I mean, if you just got on and shared it every single day, what results would that bring? You know, I think there's just an element of curiosity too. And I think, you know, Donna, at first when you were saying like, sometimes you just really have to push through. Sometimes I think you also have to find something fun to breathe a little bit more life into the things that we're doing day to day. You know what I mean? Like I found doing videos fun, not always. But you know, that was something that breathed a lot of new life into my business. Doing birthdays, that breathed new life into my business. Creating a referral program that was very robust for my customers, that breathed new life into it. And so I think we constantly have to be recreating things to keep us motivated and engaged while we're maintaining, you know, the good habits that we've already built. One of the best ways I found to do referrals was when I would do my follow-ups and someone's like, oh, I need to order another Calm or whatever, right? I'd be like, hey, do you know anyone else that you can think of that would like Calm? Because I have some Calm samples, and if we can, you know, for every this many you sell, I can give it to you for free, or this much off for every single one that we share and sell, you know. And then I would just get really tactical about. Some people be like, oh yeah, my sister and my mom are coming Sunday. So I put together 2 sample packs, get them to her, and then follow up. If they buy them, great. If not, great. And I would also just make sure I had their contact information. Now I have 2 more people in my pipeline. A lot of times I think we're making it complicated, right? That's a referral program. Do you know anyone else who would like the product you're about to reorder? That's asking for a referral, right? So I think sometimes we feel like we have to say, do you have any referrals? but it's not, you know. I really appreciate this conversation. I feel like it's been a really like honest and good one. I hope you guys have some more ideas. I know I do. And this touch point for me with each of you is one of the things that breathes life back into my job. So thank you so much for taking the time out to be here. I cannot express my appreciation for you enough. And let's help some people bounce back and get more connected. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, Shanae.
Everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good night,
Bye,
you guys.
guys. See ya.
Bye-bye.